Hello YouTube, it's the Anime Overanalyst here with another Promised Neverland review. This review covers chapters 38 through 59 and will contain some spoilers. Part 1 of this video will be a short synopsis of what happens in this arc, and Part 2 will be my thoughts on certain topics within the arc. Now, like I stated in my previous video, I am recording this on a Corsair microphone. Once I get 100 subscribers, I will purchase an actual microphone to use. Until then, I am sorry for the low quality of the audio. Now, before I begin the synopsis, there is something that I do want to admit. I did read the next arc after this arc. As I was reading this arc, it kind of just blended into the next arc, and I just simply could not put it down. Therefore, there's going to be some topics that I'm going to avoid discussing in this review, even though they do pertain to this chapter, only because they become more relevant in the next arc. That being said, let's jump into the synopsis for this arc. Emma, Ray, and the gang have finally escaped from the orphanage. After several hours of running away, the kids accidentally get sucked into a pit of vampire trees. Emma then figures out that one of the books that William Minerva, aka the Mystery Man, had smuggled into the orphanage contained clues on how to escape the vampire trees. The book was disguised as an adventure novel, but contained hints of the world outside of the orphanage. For example, a wall of snakes in the story was really the roots of the vampire trees, which absorbs the blood of the living creatures that they ensnare. Once they escaped the pit, a demon patrol unit spots the group. Ray decides to split up and distract the demons while the rest run away with Emma. Soon afterwards, Emma passes out due to her ear wound, while Ray gets surrounded by the demons. Luckily, Ray gets saved by a cloaked rider at the same time that Emma gets saved by a different cloaked figure. These two figures turn out to be demons by the names of Sonju and Mujika, who do not eat humans because it is against their religion. Under their care, Mujika and Sonju explained to Emma and Ray about their world. Apparently, the demons and the humans lived in a war with each other hundreds of years ago. Finally, the two races agreed on a promise of ceasefire. The demons would not hunt the humans as long as they are able to raise children on plantations/farms. The next day, Emma, Ray, and the rest of the gang of kids head out to B06-32, which are the coordinates written on the pen that William Minerva left behind. Apparently, the pen is also a projector that can display messages when the right code word is typed in. Minerva wrote the code words in one of his books that Emma brought with her. Once they reached the coordinates, they found a crazy man living inside an underground shelter. The man tried to scare them off by threatening to kill Emma, but she just kicked him in the balls and the rest tied him up. It turned out that he was not William Minerva, but a runaway just like them that had been living in the shelter for years. In one of the other rooms, he had written names on a wall as well as the word poachers. He refused to give his name and resorted to calling everyone by funny nicknames that he came up with. Emma deduced that the names on the wall were his friends that had died at some point, either from the poachers or from infighting. The gang finally settles into the shelter, which happens to be self-sustaining. While Mr. was tied up, Ray and Emma found a letter from William Minerva. It stated that he was unable to stay in the shelter, but he would be found at A08-63. Emma and Ray convinces Mr. to escort them to the coordinates, even though they think that he would just kill both of them. Right before they left, however, Gilda goes up to Mr. and threatens to blow up the entire shelter if he does not return with either Emma or Ray. Then The three leave to A0863. The first thing that I have is that immediately the chapter after chapter 39, literally they described the pen. That that threw me for a loop. I thought that was going to be a mystery that was going to be solved at least a couple more chapters, but no, they apparently Emma and Norman knew about the pen already, and they had already kind of figured some things out. And so I kind of wish that they told Ray, but Ray was kind of in a shitty mental state, so it kind of actually makes sense why Ray didn't know about the pen. Ray and Emma get trapped into the vampire trees. I don't know what to call it. They fall into a pit, and the vampire trees are above ground, but it's the roots that are threatening to kill them. Regardless, Emma was the one that pointed out that in one of the books that she brought that was smuggled to the orphanage by William Minerva. Uh, in the book, it told about an adventurer who battled snakes, and she came to the conclusion that the snakes were in reference to the roots that for the vampire trees. So I just kind of thought that was interesting. How, and I wonder what else is in that book. They only really used that book this time and then like a little bit afterwards to prove that the book means something. So once Emma, Ray, and the rest of the kids managed to get out of the grotto. I don't know. Is it called a grotto? I don't know if it's called a grotto, but uh, they got out of danger just to get thrown into more danger. Basically, the kids were being tracked by what I called in my video a demon patrol unit, and it's just basically there's high level demons and searching for them, and they had like these kind of like dog like demons that could sniff their tracks and speak to the higher and more intelligent demons. And I've kind of noticed that they have like this kind of class system among them. There's the intelligent demons who think they're superior to the inferior just roaming demons. Um, so that's kind of an interesting thing to keep in mind as well, I guess, for later on. Don and Gilda had a really cool moment where they were able to show the kids how to dash through narrow spaces, and it really surprised Emma and Ray. I think especially Ray, because at up until this point he hadn't really given Don and Gilda too much credit, but as I'm reading this, I'm loving those two characters more and more. Anyways, uh, so that's kind of my first impressions. I guess just to talk a little bit briefly about Mujika. I guess Mujika specifically was that uh, she really fascinated me. How do I put it? She was almost overly nice. Like, Sonju, I could kind of expect because he's still kind of like the intelligent demon type. And towards the middle of the arc, when everybody leaves, Sonju does admit that he wants there to be, or he admits like he wants to hunt humans again, which I thought was kind of interesting. But Mujika, something about her personality quite interests me. I don't really understand why, but it is real fascinating. One other thing that I wanted to talk about the two, they follow a religion. It doesn't state in the manga what the name of the religion is, or if there's anybody else who follows the religion. which is kind of odd. I kind of think the religion is BS. I think they may have made it up, or if it is existence, only these two follow it. Because they're like nomads. They go around for some reason. They just travel around. They don't stay at one spot at all. It's possible that everybody else, follows them. It's kind of weird. They just happen to be at the right place at the right time now that I think about it. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I'm going to put that in the back of my mind. I think Sonju might be a future antagonist. It's possibility. I don't think Mujika will. She's almost childlike if I think about it. We don't know their ages, but I can kind of see it as maybe she's Sonju's daughter. I actually took them as like a couple. Um, Either like a married couple if demons have marriages, or they don't even have to be married. I didn't really get any romantic vibes between the two. Uh, they just coexist with each other. Kind of like how I don't get any romantic vibes between Ray and Emma. You know, they just kind of coexist with each other. They do teach Emma how to hunt, which is really important, mostly when it comes later on. There is a panel where Emma straight up goes, "Hey, teach me how to kill. Teach me how to take someone's life." And I mean, that Emma's got balls for saying that. I mean, granted, she's 12 years old. Actually, that's a lot that I have to keep reminding myself. These are kids who are 12 years old. Both Ray and Emma. I think Gilda and Dawn may be 10, but everybody else who falls within the range of like 8 to 6. I did notice that there are like a couple older children besides Dawn and Gilda, but I don't think they're the same age. I think they're still a couple years younger. Let's talk about the shelter. So everybody made it to the shelter. Yay! It's fantastic. One problem. It's already occupied. It's occupied by this crazy man who with no name. We had hoped to be William Minerva, but that would have been way too easy. No, instead it was just some random dude who was a runaway just like everybody else. And he wanted to hog the entire shelter to himself. He didn't want to share it with anybody. And he at one point during the confrontation, he had pulled up a gun to Emma's head, and then she just kicked him in the balls, which I thought was amazing. She manages to get shot, or she didn't even get shot. The bullet went right past her. She didn't flinch for a second. She was like, "You're bluffing, bro. You don't want to kill me. If you wanted to kill us, you would have killed us already. Nah, you're bluffing." Yeah, just her steel iron will is amazing. Emma has so much more to worry about. Not only does she have to worry about herself, but she has to worry about, her family that she has vowed to protect. It's like I'm watching her learning how to give up control a little bit, as well as, how much she means to everybody. Even Ray. Ray has also gone through some really cool character development. Ray has there was that point where uh he was going to give himself up. There was like twice, two or three times up to this point where he was going to sacrifice himself. And it actually got to the point where Gilda goes up to Emma and goes, "Yo, if you're sick, cut it out. Literally, tell us. Tell us if you're sick. Don't take it all on yourself." And Emma's like, yeah, you're right, Gilda, you're right. And then one of the little kids, literally one of the 5 years old, goes up to Gray and goes, "Yeah, and stop feeling suicidal, Gray." Oh my god. And Ray goes, "Holy shit, I have been having."
Oh my god, I shouldn't be laughing at that, but it's so true. Yeah, this whole family connection is so important. And then they meet this guy, Mister, who threatens to he threatens to kill the family, and Emma stands her ground. Yeah, he threatens. He was just like, Go somewhere else, die somewhere else. I will shoot you all if I have to." And she's like, "No, you ain't." And that, like, the more I think about it, just the more amazing that is. And like I said, eventually he does get her in a hostage situation, and she gets herself out of the hostage situation, which also is quite amazing if you think about it. Um, and yeah, she gets herself out of the hostage situation, and then everybody goes and ties him up. Yeah, he does manage to break free. He somehow gets a knife because it's anime. Um, but while he's tied up, everybody's goes and parties around the shelter, and you kind of really get to see a lot of his character when they reveal his bedroom. It had the one wall that had names, and then it had another wall that just said help, 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 and then above it said poachers. Looking at his bedroom, you could really tell that this man has gone through a lot, and he had a psychological breakdown. I mean, the moment I saw that, I'm like, okay, he also had a family just like Emma's, and he's lost everyone. And Emma came to that exact conclusion the next chapter. She was like, actually, she probably figured it out right then and there, but they didn't reveal it till the next chapter when they're talking about the letter. Anyways, so he's at this shelter, and Emma and Ray convinces Mister to take them there because Mister claims that he had already been there. There was two reasons for that. I don't really know if they stated it in the manga. I think they did, but I already kind of came up with one of them immediately, and it was just to get him away from the kids. Like literally, we got a crazy man. Just get him away. Get him away. Get him away. The second reason was that Emma wanted to break into him. She really wanted to get to know him more, even though he had completely shut himself off. Which makes sense, coming where he's at in the next, uh, yeah, in the next arc. As they leave, they're all packing up to leave. Gilda stops them. She turns to Mister and she goes, "If you don't come back with at least one of them alive, I'm going to blow this place up." And I was like, oh my god, Gilda's developing some balls. And I mean, just looking at the panel, she's dead serious, and I believe her 100%. She would blow up the place if, no one comes back alive. Like, yeah, I can completely see that. Um, I don't know if she'll be able to get everybody out safe before she manages to do it, but I'm not gonna go into any further than that. Besides the fact that really, really starting I'm really starting to like Gilda. Last review, I admitted that I didn't think Gilda was much of a character. She really got her time to shine in this arc and at the end of the next arc, which I won't go into. Fun fact. Uh, what site am I using to read the answers in the analysis? So yeah, if you hadn't found out already, just kind of skim through the analysis and comment down below. If you comment down below, I mean, I'm small enough, I will read the comics and I'll probably reply. We can have like a discussion. I am all up for a discussion. Just talk to someone who's like-minded. Uh, I've got a Twitter, I'm at anime over analyst. Uh, it's just the same as my channel name. I also have a Twitch channel that I sometimes post. Um, so, you can check me out there on Twitch. Until then, I'll catch you guys later.
Peace.